Welcome back. In this video, we'll uncover the hidden value and history of the Washington Quarter. First up, the 1776 to 1976 Washington Bicentennial Quarter, particularly those struck at the Denver Mint bearing the D Mint mark, hold a special place in U.S. numismatic history. Issued to celebrate America's 200th anniversary of independence, these quarters stand apart from regular circulation issues. Though millions were minted, certain rare varieties and high-grade specimens are prized by collectors. Even a dirty, circulated piece reflects an important chapter in American coinage, but when found in pristine condition, these coins can command strong market interest. Their unique commemorative design and limited production years give them lasting appeal among both casual hobbyists and seasoned numismatists. The bicentennial coinage program was launched in 1975 to 1976 to honor the United States' 200th year of independence. Unlike ordinary Washington quarters, these special issues featured a dual date, 1776 to 1976, and a one-time reverse design chosen through a national competition. The Denver Mint produced vast quantities of these quarters, which were released into circulation across the country during celebrations of the American Revolution's anniversary. By issuing these coins, the U.S. Mint not only commemorated a milestone in the nation's history, but also brought art and history together in a way that made the bicentennial accessible to every citizen handling pocket change. The obverse of the Denver minted bicentennial quarter carries the familiar bust of George Washington, sculpted by John Flanagan, but with a notable dual date, 1776 to 1976, beneath his portrait. The reverse, designed by Jack L. Ahr, features a colonial drummer with a torch of victory encircled by 13 stars, symbolizing the original colonies. Struck in copper-nickel clad for circulation, the coin measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter and weighs 5.67 grams. Collectors also seek out the 40% silver-clad versions, which were sold in special sets. The Denver Mint Mark D sits clearly on the obverse, identifying its origin and adding to its traceability for collectors. Although the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of bicentennial quarters, most were heavily circulated, which makes high-grade examples rare today. Dirty, worn pieces are common, but coins that survived with full original luster, sharp details, and no major scratches are scarce and much more desirable. Some rarer varieties, such as those with double die errors or strong strikes, also elevate the coin's rarity status. The distinction between a heavily circulated coin worth face value and a certified mint state or proof coin worth hundreds lies entirely in condition and variety. The market value of a 1776 to 1976 Denver bicentennial quarter varies widely. A typical dirty, circulated example is usually worth only its face value of 25 cents. However, in uncirculated condition with crisp details, these coins can sell between $1,000 and $7,500 depending on grade. Special 40% silver issues or high-end mint state graded examples can reach into the hundreds of dollars at auction. Rare error pieces and top-tier graded coins have been known to command even higher prices, sometimes crossing into the low thousands. Values continue to hold steady, reflecting the strong interest in America's bicentennial coinage among both nostalgic collectors and modern investors. For those interested in acquiring a Denver bicentennial quarter, careful evaluation is essential. Look for coins with minimal wear, strong details on Washington's hair and the drummer's design, and clean fields free of heavy marks. Certification from reputable grading services like PeaceGS or NGC adds credibility and market value. Collectors may choose to assemble complete bicentennial sets, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mint issues in both clad and silver compositions. Storing coins in protective holders, albums, or slabs will help preserve them, especially if you encounter an example in higher grade or one with unusual striking characteristics. Beyond their monetary value, bicentennial quarters hold deep cultural appeal. They serve as a tangible reminder of a celebratory moment in American history when patriotism and unity were highlighted through everyday coinage. For many collectors, these coins spark nostalgia, recalling childhood memories of finding the special drummer boy quarters and change. Their enduring popularity demonstrates how commemorative designs can connect national history with individual experience, bridging generations through something as small as a coin. In summary, the 1776 to 1976 Washington Bicentennial Quarter from the Denver Mint is a coin of both historical and collectible importance. While circulated and dirty examples may only carry sentimental or historical interest, high-grade and rare varieties attract serious collector attention and notable premiums. Its design, commemorating America's bicentennial, stands apart from the standard Washington Quarter series and ensures lasting recognition. For numismatists, this coin embodies the intersection of artistry, history, and investment potential, making it a treasured addition to any collection. Next up, the 1965 Washington Quarter is a fascinating coin in U.S. numismatics because it represents one of the most dramatic turning points in modern American coinage. Although the majority of 1965 quarters are extremely common, certain ultra-rare examples, such as transitional errors or coins preserved in unusually high grades, have captured the imagination of collectors worldwide. A dirty, well-circulated quarter from this year may look ordinary, but its story and potential hidden varieties give it an importance that far outweighs its modest appearance. Collectors view this coin as both a historical artifact and, in rare instances, a potentially valuable find. The year 1965 marked the official end of silver quarters for circulation in the United States. Rising silver prices throughout the early 1960s made it unsustainable for the U.S. Mint to continue producing 90% silver coinage. As a solution, the Mint transitioned to a copper-nickel clad composition starting in 1965. To avoid panic hoarding, the Mint removed mint marks from all coins struck between 1965 and 1967, which is why no genuine Denver Mark coins exist for this year. However, the absence of mint marks has created intrigue. Collectors often scrutinize these pieces for unusual errors or die varieties that can elevate their rarity. The design of the 1965 Washington Quarter remained consistent with the series introduced in 1932. The obverse shows John Flanagan's sculpted bust of George Washington, while the reverse features the bold heraldic eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, framed by olive branches. Unlike earlier silver versions, the 1965 issue was produced in copper-nickel clad, giving it a lighter silvery hue over a reddish copper core. Weighing 5.67 grams and measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter, this was the first full production year of clad quarters. For collectors, coins that still retain their original mint luster are particularly attractive, as most examples circulated heavily. By itself, a 1965 quarter is not rare. The Mint struck over 1.8 billion pieces. Yet within this massive mintage lie pockets of rarity. Transitional errors, such as quarters struck accidentally on leftover silver planchets, are exceedingly scarce and can be worth thousands. Equally desirable are sharply struck mint-state examples that escaped the heavy use of circulation. Unfortunately, most 1965 quarters, especially dirty, circulated ones, bear scratches, dull surfaces, and weak details. These worn examples rarely hold value beyond face value, but the scarcity of gem-quality coins makes pristine survivors true treasures for numismatists. The market value of a 1965 Washington Quarter depends entirely on its variety and condition. Circulated and dirty examples typically trade at 25 cents, reflecting their commonness. However, coins that grade in the higher mint state levels, MS 65 and above, can sell for $2,500 to $4,000, depending on appeal. Transitional error coins struck on silver planchets can soar far higher, often reaching several $1,000s at auction. Collectors are particularly drawn to certified examples, as professional grading eliminates doubts about authenticity or condition. The market for these rare errors has remained strong, as their historical significance continues to intrigue buyers. For collectors seeking 1965 quarters, The key is close inspection. Look for heavier weight, brighter surfaces, or unusual toning. All potential signs of silver, transitional errors. Pay attention to the sharpness of Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers, as these details often wear down first. Submitting potential rarities to grading services such as PCGS or NGC is essential, especially if there is suspicion of a silver planchet or an unusually well-struck coin. For storage, airtight holders are recommended to prevent further tarnish, especially with coins already in dirty or corroded condition. Acquiring examples from trusted dealers or estate sales may uncover hidden gems overlooked in circulation. Beyond its financial potential, the 1965 quarter represents a shift in American economic and cultural history. The removal of silver from coinage reflected both global market realities and a change in how Americans viewed everyday money. For many collectors, holding this coin is like holding a tangible reminder of that turning point. Younger hobbyists are often drawn to the story behind the coin, while experienced numismatists pursue the high-grade and error varieties that elevate the ordinary to extraordinary. In this way, the 1965 quarter bridges accessibility and rarity, appealing to a wide spectrum of coin enthusiasts. In conclusion, the 1965 Washington quarter without mint mark is a coin that embodies both the common and the exceptional. While most examples are dirty, worn, and worth only face value, rare varieties and high-quality survivors carry significant numismatic importance and market value. Its historical context as the first clad quarter ensures its permanent place in the story of U.S. coinage. Whether collected for its history, studied for its errors, or valued as an investment, the 1965 quarter continues to spark interest across generations. It is a coin that proves even the most ordinary pieces of pocket change can hold extraordinary stories and surprising worth. Next up, the 1966 Washington quarter without a mint mark is an intriguing and highly collectible piece in American numismatics, particularly when attributed to Denver production, despite the absence of the traditional D mint mark. This coin has sparked immense interest among collectors due to its rarity, unusual minting practices of the mid-1960s, and its position in U.S. coinage history. While the majority of Washington quarters from this period remain common in circulated grades, examples that are tied to special errors, preserved in high quality, or connected with historical minting quirks can command impressive value on today's market. Collectors often seek these coins as both historical artifacts and investment opportunities, making them among the most talked-about issues of the Washington Quarter series. The 1966 Washington Quarter emerged during a pivotal era in U.S. coinage, when silver was being phased out in favor of copper-nickel-clad compositions. This change, enacted by the Coinage Act of 1965, marked a dramatic shift in the nation's currency system. The Denver Mint, though producing massive quantities of coins, was impacted by a temporary suspension of mint marks between 1965 and 1967, intended to discourage hoarding. As a result, all coins from this period bear no identifying mint mark, creating an unusual mystery for collectors trying to pinpoint their origins. The 1966 quarter thus represents a coin from a transitional age, deeply tied to the economic and political climate of mid-20th century America. The coin retains the familiar design of the Washington quarter, created in 1932 by sculptor John Flanagan. On the obverse is the iconic profile of George Washington, carefully detailed with strong features that reflect the spirit of American leadership. The reverse carries the striking eagle motif, with wings spread wide and a bundle of arrows beneath, symbolizing strength and readiness. Encircling the eagle are olive branches, signifying peace. Unlike earlier silver quarters, the 1966 issue is composed of copper-nickel-clad layers over a pure copper core, measuring 24.3 millimeters in diameter and weighing 5.67 grams. Though the design is consistent with earlier issues, the change in metal content and lack of a mint mark distinguish it as a unique product of its time. While millions of quarters were minted in 1966, rarity comes into play through condition, errors, and dye varieties. Collectors highly prize examples that have survived in pristine condition, as circulation and heavy use quickly dulled the details of most pieces. Coins discovered with doubling errors, misstrikes, or unusual die rotations elevate their status to ultra-rare within the hobby. Even a very dirty or well-worn coin may have potential if its details are preserved enough to confirm an error or anomaly. Mint-state specimens certified by leading grading services are scarce compared to the overall mintage, and their scarcity directly influences desirability. The value of a 1966 Washington quarter without a mint mark varies significantly depending on condition and uniqueness. Common circulated examples may only fetch a modest premium, but certified mint-state coins often range between $200 and $1,500, especially for grades MS65 and higher. Certain error varieties, such as double-die, obverse, or off-center strikes, have been known to bring $3,000 to $7,500 at auction, depending on eye appeal and rarity. While it is important to note that most dirty or worn coins will not reach such lofty sums, exceptional pieces remain highly sought after and continue to show consistent appreciation in the numismatic market. What makes the 1966 quarter so appealing to collectors is its intersection of rarity, historical context, and mystery. The absence of mint marks during this era continues to spark conversations among enthusiasts who specialize in transitional coinage. Investors see it as a long-term asset because the pool of high-grade survivors is limited, while hobbyists admire the artistic continuity of Flanagan design. Error collectors, in particular, place a premium on these coins, as the quirks of the minting process during the 1960s make them fertile ground for discoveries. Collectors who secure certified examples not only enjoy owning a tangible link to American history, but also gain an asset with proven resilience in numismatic markets. For those interested in acquiring a 1966 Washington quarter, the most important step is authentication. Submitting a coin to trusted grading services, such as PCGS or NGC, ensures both accuracy and protection of value. Collectors should pay close attention to strike quality, luster, and any unusual features that may indicate a mint error. Dirty coins can sometimes conceal strong details underneath, making careful cleaning, done professionally, not at home, an option before submission. For long-term care, storing the coin in a temperature-controlled environment with protective holders will preserve its integrity. Reputable coin dealers, estate sales, and specialty auctions are often the best avenues for acquiring rare examples. In summary, the 1966 Washington quarter without a mint mark, especially those attributed to Denver production, occupies a special place in American numismatic history. Its story is tied to the broader transformation of U.S. coinage. Its unique features highlight both artistry and economic necessity, and its rarity continues to attract collectors worldwide. Whether appreciated for its design, historical significance, or market potential, this coin remains a fascinating pursuit for numismatists. For new collectors, it offers an accessible entry point into mid-century U.S. coinage, while seasoned enthusiasts recognize its enduring value as part of a growing legacy of rare and transitional quarters. Next up, the 1967 Washington quarter without a mint mark is one of the most fascinating coins from the transitional era of American coinage. Despite being produced in large numbers, it holds a place of importance in numismatics because of its association with a unique chapter in U.S. minting history. Collectors are drawn to this coin not simply for its age, but for the unusual circumstances under which it was issued. Today, it is highly sought after in specific conditions and for certain varieties, making it a coveted piece for enthusiasts who value rarity, historical context, and the thrill of discovering a hidden gem in everyday change. The 1967 Washington quarter was struck during the nationwide coin shortage of the mid-1960s. In an effort to reduce hoarding, the U.S. Mint removed mint marks from coins between 1965 and 1967, so even quarters struck in Denver or Philadelphia carried no identifying letter. This policy means that while Denver certainly produced millions of these quarters, collectors cannot distinguish them from those minted elsewhere. Historically, the 1967 issue symbolizes the government's struggle to balance economic stability with public trust in coinage. It also highlights the era when silver had been removed entirely from quarters, replaced by copper-nickel clad composition, cementing a lasting change in U.S. currency. The coin retains the classic design by John Flanagan, which had already been a mainstay for over 3 decades by 1967. The obverse featured a left-facing bust of George Washington, flanked by the word Liberty above and the date 1967 below, with "In God We Trust" inscribed to the left. The reverse showcases a heraldic eagle clutching arrows, with an olive branch beneath, symbols of strength tempered by peace. The 1967 quarter measures 24.3 millimeters, weighs 5.67 grams, and consists of copper-nickel layers bonded to a pure copper core. Its visual identity lies not in novelty of design, but in the historical fact that, for 3 years, all mint marks were deliberately omitted, making every coin appear the same regardless of origin. While the majority of 1967 quarters are common in circulated grades, rarity emerges in the form of condition and errors. Proof-like coins from special mint sets, SMS, are especially admired, with some exhibiting deep cameo contrast that elevate their desirability. Additionally, minting errors such as double dies, clipped planchets, or off-center strikes transform an otherwise ordinary piece into an ultra-rare collectible. Dirty or heavily circulated coins may appear unimpressive, yet careful inspection can reveal scarce die varieties. High-grade examples certified by grading services like PeaceGS or NGC are far scarcer than the mintage suggests, making gem specimens prized in the marketplace. The market value for the 1967 Washington quarter without a mint mark depends entirely on condition and error status. Typical circulated coins hold only modest premiums, but mint state coins graded MS65 or better often range from $300 to $1,200, especially if they display sharp strikes and strong luster. Special mint set quarters with deep cameo designations can fetch $2,000 to $5,000, while rare errors occasionally reach $6,000 to $8,500 at auction. The steady appreciation of high-quality examples over the last decade reflects strong demand from both specialists in Washington quarters and broader collectors of mid-20th century U.S. coinage. What sets the 1967 quarter apart is the convergence of history and rarity. Collectors admire it not only as part of the enduring Washington quarter series, but also as a symbol of a short-lived but significant policy shift in minting practices. Those who specialize in transitional coinage see it as an essential addition to their sets, while error collectors view it as fertile ground for unique discoveries. Even casual hobbyists are intrigued by its backstory, making the 1967 issue a bridge between ordinary coinage and specialized numismatic study. Its appeal lies in the possibility that an unassuming quarter could, under the right circumstances, be worth thousands. For collectors hoping to secure a valuable 1967 Washington quarter, careful examination is key. Look for coins with full details, strong luster, and minimal contact marks, as these are more likely to achieve higher grades. Submitting coins to PeaceGS or NGC for professional grading adds both authentication and market credibility. Collectors should also pay close attention to SMS issues, particularly those with deep cameo contrasts, which command premium prices. Storage in protective holders or slabs is essential to preserve surfaces, especially for high-grade pieces. Acquiring such coins through trusted dealers, auctions, or numismatic clubs ensures authenticity and value. In conclusion, the 1967 Washington quarter without a mint mark, though common at first glance, emerges as a fascinating rarity when viewed through the lens of history, condition, and variety. It embodies the U.S. Mint's response to mid-century challenges, reflects a decisive break from silver coinage, and remains a strong performer in the collector's market. Whether appreciated for its artistic continuity, historical significance, or investment potential, it represents a compelling chapter in American numismatics. For collectors new and seasoned alike, The 1967 issue continues to prove that even the most ordinary-looking coin can carry extraordinary value.